Adding and subtracting fractions. Today's joke: 5 out of 4 people don't understand fractions. Today's lesson is adding and subtracting fractions. We're going to add and subtract fractions and use factoring to find common denominators. Our Indiana Academic Standard is 8.2.1. Example 1. Simplifying with like denominators. Find each sum or difference. Simplify if possible. 1a, 4/9 plus 2/9. Since we have a common denominator, we can just add the numerators. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we have 6/9. 6/9 can be reduced to 2/3 because both 6 and 9 can be divided by 3. Now let's look at example B. 12b minus 5b. Because we have a common denominator, we can just subtract the numerators. 12 minus 5 is 7. So our answer is 7b. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to complete the problems. Also, don't forget to write a question to discuss in class. For example 2, simplifying with unlike denominators. Simplify each difference. We have to find a common denominator. I really don't like writing them horizontally, so please find some space somewhere else on your paper to write these problems down. We're going to write down 1/6 minus 3/4 vertically. We have to find a common denominator of 6 and 4. When I find common denominators for fractions, I typically look at the larger denominator and ask myself, can 4 go into 6? It can't. So then I start listing my multiples of 6. The next multiple of 6 is 12. 4 can go into 12, so I know my common denominator is going to be 12. Ask yourself, what do I multiply 6 by to get 12? I multiply it by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. What do I multiply 4 by to get 12? I multiply by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So I have 2 twelfths minus 9 twelfths. Now, prior to this year, you didn't deal with negative fractions. This year we're going to have them. 2 minus 9 is negative 7. So our answer is negative 7 twelfths. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to complete the problems. Also, don't forget to write a question to discuss in class. Again, since we don't have a common denominator, we're going to write these two fractions vertically. 2y minus 5/16. We have to find a common denominator. That common denominator is simply going to be 16y. So 2y, we're going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 16. And for 5/16, we're going to multiply the numerator and denominator by y. So we then have 32 over 16y minus 5y over 16y. It's very simple to write this. We can't combine the 32 and the 5y, so we end up writing 32 minus 5y over 16y. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to complete the problems. Also, don't forget to write a question to discuss in class. Try the quick check on your own. Find the sum or difference, simplify if possible. Pause the video, try them, then start the video again to check your work. 3/7 plus 1/7 is 4/7, and 2k plus 3k is 5k. For example number 3, adding mixed numbers. Suppose one day you rode a bicycle for 3.5 hours and jogged for 1.25 hours. How many hours did you exercise? We're going to take 3 1/2 and add to it 1 1/4. We have to have a common denominator to add the fractions. Common denominator of half and fourth is 4. So 1/2 becomes 2/4, and 1/4 just stays 1/4. So we have 2/4 plus 1/4, which is 3/4, and we have 3 hours plus 1 hour, which is 4 hours. So you exercised for 4 3/4 hours. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to complete the problems. Also, don't forget to write a question to discuss in class. Try these quick check problems on your own. Try 2A, B, and C. Then start the video and check your work. Remember, you have to have a common denominator. -7/8 plus 3/4. The common denominator of 8 and 4 is 8. So the top fraction doesn't have to be changed. It will be -7/8. The second fraction of 3/4 must be changed into something over 8. 4 times 2 is 8, so we must multiply 3 times 2, which is 6. So we have -7/8 plus 6/8. -7 plus 6 is -1. So our final answer is -1/8. 3/7 minus 2m. We have to find a common denominator of 7 and m. That would be 7m. So we have to multiply the 3 in the numerator by m, so we get 3m. For the bottom fraction, we have to multiply by 7, so we get 14. So our problem is now 3m minus 14 all over 7m, and that's our answer. 3m minus 14 is the numerator, and 7m is the denominator. 5/8 minus 5/6. You have to have a common denominator. That would be 24. 5/8 becomes 15 over 24 because you're multiplying by 3. 5/6 becomes 20 24ths because you're multiplying by 4. 5 24ths minus 20 24ths would be -5 24ths. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to complete the problems. Also, don't forget to write a question to discuss in class. I want to show you another way to solve mixed number problems. You can change them to improper fractions. That's what we're going to do with the next 3 examples. Another way that you can add or subtract mixed numbers is you can change them to improper fractions. This works very well if you have to borrow or regroup. So 5 3/4 becomes 23/4, and 7/8 will just leave 7/8. We still have to find a common denominator of 8, so 23/4 becomes 46/8. So now we can add 46/8 and 7/8 and get 53/8. We still have to change that into a mixed number, and we'll do that next. 53/8 becomes 6 5/8. Let's take a look at example E now. Begin by writing the mixed number 5 2/9 minus 3 1/6 vertically. Now we're going to change 5 2/9 into an improper fraction, which would be 47 over 9, because 9 times 5 is 45 plus 2 is 47, so we have 47/9. And 3 1/6 would become 19/6, because 6 times 3 is 18 plus 1 is 19. If we change the improper fractions so they have common denominators, 47 over 9 becomes 94/18, and 19 over 6 becomes 57/18. Now we can subtract 94 minus 57, which is 37/18. 37/18 can be turned back into a mixed number of 2 1/18. If you don't have either one of these problems completely finished, you should pause the video at this time, because I'm going to have to clean my slate or clean the board here before I can do the last problem. So pause the video if you need to copy down either sample D or E. Now we're ready for example F, 2 3/12 minus 7/9. I'm definitely going to change this one to improper fractions. So 2 3/12 will become 27/12, and 7/9 just stays 7/9. The next thing we have to do is find a common denominator. The common denominator of 12 and 9 is 36. We have to change 27/12 into something over 36. We're going to have to multiply 27 times 3. 27 times 3 is 81. 12 times 3 is 36. We have 81 over 36. 7/9, we have to multiply both by 4, so we end up with 28 over 36. Now we have 81 minus 28, which is 53 over 36. That can be simplified to 1 17/36. Pause the video at this time if you need more time to complete the problems. Also, don't forget to write a question to discuss in class.